Your PC has a built-in janitor that almost nobody knows exists. Microsoft put it there years ago, gave it a switch, and then shipped Windows with that switch turned off. Most people will go their whole life never finding it, which is exactly why their drives keep filling up with stuff they don't need. Today we're flipping it on and walking through every setting that actually decides whether it does anything useful. Here's the situation. Software you install, websites you load, updates that come down the pipe, every single one of them leaves behind little leftovers. Windows tucks them into folders all over your drive, expecting that something somewhere will sweep them up later. Nothing ever does. They just sit. Your recycle bin slowly fills up, your downloads folder turns into a graveyard of installers you forgot about, and your storage shrinks while you watch. Nothing in Windows is set to clean any of this on its own. To find this feature, click the Start button in the corner of your screen, then click the gear-shaped icon to open the Settings app. On the left side panel, you'll see a list of categories. Click on System, the first one. Then on the right-hand side, scroll down a little and click Storage. The page that loads is basically a live X-ray of your drive, showing exactly what's eating your space, broken down by category. Glance over it if you want, then keep scrolling. Under the heading Storage Management, you'll see the entry labeled Storage Sense. Click it. Right at the top of this page sits a single switch labeled Storage Sense. If you've never been here before, it's almost certainly grayed out and pushed to the left, which means it's off. Click it and slide it over to the right so it turns blue. This is the gate. Every other setting on this page is meaningless until this main switch is in the on position. Without it, all the rules below are just sitting there doing nothing. Right beneath that main switch, you'll spot a section labeled Cleanup of Temporary Files. There's a checkbox here, and this is the part most people walk straight past because it looks like description text rather than a setting you can actually change. It's not description text. It's a real working toggle. What it actually controls is a continuous background process that wipes junk out of your system folders as you go, completely independent from the scheduled cleanup you're about to set further down the page. Two separate cleanup engines running on two separate clocks. If that checkbox is empty, the most active part of Storage Sense is just sitting there doing nothing. Make sure the box has a checkmark in it. Scroll down to the section labeled Configure Cleanup Schedules. The first drop-down under it controls how often Storage Sense actually fires. Click it open and you'll see 4 options. And the one Windows hands you by default is the worst on the list. Daily is way too aggressive. Your PC isn't piling up enough garbage in a single day to need a full sweep, and running it that often just chews through resources for almost no return. Weekly fits if you're someone who hammers their machine, installs apps regularly, downloads heavy files, lives inside the computer for work or gaming. Monthly is the smart middle for everyone else. If your day looks like checking email, watching shows, jumping on the web, opening a document here and there, monthly is more than enough to keep things tidy. The fourth choice during low free disk space is the default, and it's the worst pick on the list. It basically tells Windows to ignore the cleanup job entirely until your drive is already choking. That's reactive, not preventative, and by the time it triggers your machine is probably already lagging. Go with weekly or monthly based on how heavy your usage gets. I'll set this one to weekly. Right under the schedule dropdown is the recycle bin rule. The question Windows is asking you here is simple. How long should deleted files sit in the recycle bin before they get erased for good? The dropdown gives you everything from never up to 60 days. Picking never basically turns this rule off, which makes a chunk of Storage Sense pointless, because the recycle bin is one of the biggest space hogs hiding on most PCs. 14 days works if you almost never go back to recover something you deleted. 30 days is the smarter pick for most people. If you went a full month without realizing a file was missing, you weren't going to need it again anyway. 60 days is too much, but it doesn't hurt anything if you want extra padding. Now pay attention because the next dropdown is the most dangerous one on this entire page. It asks how long files in your Downloads folder can sit unopened before Windows wipes them. Read that one more time. Wipes, not moved to the recycle bin first. Gone, with no easy way to get them back through the usual recovery options. Your Downloads folder is full of stuff you grabbed once and never thought about again. Installers, drivers, PDFs somebody emailed you, photos a relative shared, receipts, documents you saved just in case. None of that gets a recycle bin grace period if this rule fires. If you pick a short window here, you could lose something irreplaceable and not even realize it. My honest advice is to leave this dropdown on Never and manage your downloads folder by hand. If you absolutely have to automate it, 60 days is the only sane option, and even then I'd encourage you to peek inside that folder once in a while. Last thing on this page. Scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see a button labeled Run Storage Sense. Click it once. What this does is force Windows to perform an immediate cleanup using every single rule you just configured, instead of waiting for the next scheduled run to come around. Think of it as your manual override. Useful if your drive is already a mess and you want to see results right away rather than waiting for the schedule to kick in. That's the whole configuration done. Storage Sense is on, the background temp file sweep is active, the schedule is set to fire on a real interval instead of waiting for disaster, the recycle bin clears itself on its own clock, and your downloads folder is protected from accidental wipes. Windows is now going to maintain itself in the background while you live your life. Drop a comment below and let me know how it went, and if this helped you out, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Also, check out the next video where I walk you through how to clear gigabytes of hidden junk files Storage Sense doesn't touch. See you in the next one.